welcome back. Welcome back. So, thank you guys for coming back to hear the last part of this faith journey, this particular faith journey, because I truly believe that my whole life is going to be a faith journey because of how the Lord has shown himself to me. I truly believe that because I have humbled myself and because I am always seeking him and because I am always looking for him, that like he finna show off in my life because of my submission and my obedience to him. And it excites me. So I know this is only a portion of my faith journey because he has shown me so many other things that I'm just waiting on him to bring to fruition in my life. But okay, so the lady emails me. We set up an interview for like, I think it was a couple days later. So anyway, I go to my car because I'm still working one of my jobs. So I go to my car and I wait for her to call. She would call me at lunchtime, and she ended up not calling me like to the end of lunchtime. So I was like, you know, kind of like, oh God, this lady gonna call me. I don't even know what to say. I'm trying to have all my little questions down or whatever so I can be efficient. So I ended up eating my little soup in my car or whatever. And then I like had fell asleep, and I was like, you know what, stop worrying, you know. Like, I guess it might not be. I'd already kind of got a little bit discouraged because she hadn't called me yet. So anyway, I kind of drifted off to sleep. And then I woke back up. Then the phone ringing through my car woke me back up. And I was like, oh my God, this is her. Like, so she called me or whatever. And she was just asking, she wasn't really asking me questions. Like, she was like just basically telling me, she was like, I see you got orthopedic experience and you probably know how it is, how busy it is or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, your resume is impressive. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, so let me tell you about our facility and what we do. And I was like, okay. And she was like, do you have any questions? I was like, I kind of started asking her about the area, like transportation, about like, you know, just all of the little nitpicky outside things about me living there, because I knew California was expensive. And this particular contract, it did meet the number that I had set for myself previously, but it wasn't a lot of money for California. So, but anyway, that's how God works, because he wants you to trust him. Like, you got to trust him, or like, what, he's not going to give you nothing that you don't need him for. Like, so anyway, after I got off the phone with her, I almost felt like I knew I had the job. Like, I just knew I had the job. So my recruiter, she was like, before I had the interview, she was like, have a good interview or whatever. And then like after, I was like, the interview went well. I let her know, you know, that the interview went well. And then like when I got back to work, I started looking for places to live in this area, because I already had felt like, oh, okay, this is the job. So not long after my interview, my recruiter texted me and she was like, you must have really had a great interview. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, why do you say that? And she was like, because they made you an offer. And I said, yo, are you for real? Like, I'm getting emotional. I'm getting emotional because it's so hard when you see, it seems like everybody else around you is getting their prayers answered. Or they may not even be praying, or, you know what I'm saying, they may not even have faith. They may not have, you know, walked away from anything, or they may not have even been through anything, but yet they're living this great life. And you're waiting on God's promises that it feels like it's never going to really happen. Like, you have faith, but it never, until God's promise comes to pass, you still think it's like, okay, this probably ain't never gonna happen, but I'm gonna believe, I'm gonna trust, I'm gonna do whatever it is they say do and just see if it works. And when it works, it's so amazing. Like, it's so amazing. Like, it doesn't matter all the people who had their yeses before I got my yes. What matters is that when it was time for me to go, God gave me a yes, and I did not have to work for it. He like showed me so much favor. So much favor. I didn't have to do anything. When the lady offered me the job, I had to tell her, I was like, I don't even have my license yet because they haven't like taken the money out of my account yet. Like, but it's coming. Like, I already applied. Like, or no, I didn't have the other part because I did have my real California license, but I ended up finding out that I still had to pay for the other portion of the license, even though I didn't have to take the test for it. And I was like, okay, like, I don't have that part of my license yet. Is that okay? And she's like, yes. Like, yes. And she was like, when do you want to start? And I was like, when do you need me to start? I want to start as soon as possible or whatever. Like, I got to choose when I wanted to start. I got to, like, give a good notice to all of my jobs. I got to, like, get everything in line. I got to, like, everything worked out. Everything worked out. Everything worked out. So when my supervisor told me about them making the offer, she was like, do you want to accept? And I'm like, yes. And I literally could not believe it. I literally was on cloud 9. Like I held myself together for that day. Like, I was just happy or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe, like, I'm about to put in my notice. I cannot believe, like, I can leave. Like, I cannot believe it's my time to go. Like, I could not believe it. Like, once I finished work that day at my first job, I cried the entire way to my other job. Like, I was so happy. Like, I cannot express the joy that I felt. The joy I felt in knowing that, like, this was God. It was perfect. I couldn't even imagine coming to California in the winter for my first contract, like, across the entire country, like, by myself, like, leaving these jobs and this life that I've lived for 10 years, like, finally. And then I get to go here where there's no snow. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So one thing that helped, I already had my bags packed. Although I had my bags packed for somewhere else, it's not as hot here as I think, because it's winter here, so it's still a little bit cool. So I only had to go in and take a couple things out of my bag because the actual location I was going to was different. But that was out the way. I didn't have to think about that. I was already getting stuff done and in line because the Lord was leading me to do these things and get these things in line. I had got my car detailed. Like, all these things was me preparing to go because the Lord was preparing me to go, because he knows the type of person that I am. Like, he knows, like, I like to have peace. I like to, like, have everything kind of in line. I don't like to be rushed. I don't like to make haste decisions. That's just not how I work. I don't like to just leave companies and leave people hanging. Like, I like to do everything in decency and in order, because I know that I don't burn bridges, because one day I might need these people. I might need this company. So he allowed me to leave everything right. Then, like I told you, I was supposed to work Christmas. So I didn't have to work Christmas. I had a 4-day Thanksgiving holiday, and I had a 4-day Christmas holiday with my family, something I've not been able to have in years because I work in healthcare. Like, he set it up that I got the job in a time that I would be able to have all this time with my family for Christmas before going out onto this new journey. Like, he set it up that I could pick my start date, and I chose the date that was best for me, and that was completely fine with the company. So I had 3 weeks to prepare. He worked it out that I left my jobs in Charlotte on December 31st and January 1st so that my next year's taxes can be completely travel, or whatever I do in that next year. Like, I don't have a half year of working regularly in Charlotte and then all of a sudden mid-year I go and move off to California. Like, God orchestrated every single thing so that this would work out as best for my life as possible. Like, there's no way that you can tell me that this was anybody else but him. There's absolutely no way. So then let's talk about me trying to find a place to live in California, y'all. Y'all, I know it's COVID, but the rent in California is not a joke. It's like 3 or 4 times the rent in North Carolina. So of course I done lived my whole life here that year or whatever in 2020, till it asking God. So I was like, Lord, you gave me this job. Where do you want me to stay? Show me where you want me to live. Blah, blah, blah. And because I knew I was living in California, when I was looking at apartments, there's no way I could afford no 1-bedroom apartment that was furnished in California. No, it's extremely expensive. So I was like, well, if he gave me the job, he must gonna work it out. So I started looking at places. I started looking, they have this thing here called co-op living, which means you basically have 20 something roommates. I guess you living on the Real World or something, and y'all share a kitchen, and 2 or 3 people share a bathroom, and it's got multiple bathrooms in the place. And I'm like, Lord, now I don't like living with people. I done been living by myself for this long time. I don't like living with people. But if this is what you want for me, then this is going to have to be what I do. So anyway, I ended up finding, he led me to an apartment complex or whatever. And when I looked at the rent, I was like, is this real? What's wrong with it? You know what I'm saying? Who outside? So anyway, he led me to this apartment. I'm like, okay, they got bad reviews here, but they got good reviews here. And I'm like, well, the people's bad reviews ain't really, it was a personal review. It was oh, they didn't hold the door open for me, or oh, there's people outside. But what about the people inside? What does it look like? And I'm like, Lord, if you leading me there, if you leading me somewhere, I know you're going to keep me safe, so I'm not worried about it. So anyway, because of COVID, the freaking rent in California is 75% off. Y'all, I wouldn't, for a fully furnished apartment, this is about the same amount that I would be paying in North Carolina, what I'm paying. Y'all, fully furnished in California, for the price, and I can walk to work. Oh God. He set it up so I would come at this time in COVID where the rent would be basically 75% off, where it would be affordable, where I would still be able to walk to work, where he did it, y'all. So my rent taken care of. And then when I applied when I did a virtual tour of the place with the lady or whatever, she was nice. She was very informative. The other apartment complex that I had reached out to, they gave me a 1-word response or whatever. They act like they didn't want me to rent there. Your first impression is your greatest impression. So anyway, this lady, I felt like I knew her. She took me around on a little video visit in the apartment complex. And then after we got off the phone, she was she sent me an email, and she was like, if you apply for this apartment within 48 hours, you can get $100 off each month. And your freaking application fee is free. Now, if you don't know how to see God when He's doing stuff, I was like, yep, I know this is it. This is even cheaper than what I thought it was, and I don't got to pay no application fee. So that's how God blessed me with this apartment that is fully furnished, that is separated. We got TV, we got internet, we got everything we need. They got the pots and pans that I need, everything that I need. I got a little view over here that I can see the city. I can walk to work. And I still got money left over. God. All right. Number 2, let me tell y'all about my job. Y'all, so I'm used to working in a hospital and at a doctor's office. All right. So I'm used to working weekends, nights, days, whatever you call it. I ain't used to getting no lunch break hardly, like working myself to death. So basically in my mind, before I even like decided that I was going to do travel, I was like, you know what, go ahead and set your mind up. You probably going to be doing some OR. You probably going to be doing some crazy stuff. You might be doing barium enemas every day, like fluoro every day. Like, go ahead and set it up, because you're going to be, you know, if you take travel, that means they need you. Sorry, y'all, the lighting is messed up. And you probably going to be the bottom of the totem pole. So go ahead and set your mind up. So I'm setting my mind up for this to be like the busiest place ever. Like, I'm gonna be sweating. Like, ain't no telling what I'm gonna be doing. Probably gonna be doing OR stuff that I don't want to do. Y'all, I talked to the lady. She tells me the job is 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, no holidays. I'm like, okay. All right, this is something that I couldn't have even picked or imagined for myself. So that's before I even left. So now I get here and I'm still like, you know, it's got to be something. Like, it's got to be something. Like, I'm missing something. Like, it can't be this good. It can't be too good to be true. I get here, start working the job. We got an hour lunch break. We off on Martin Luther King Day. We off on President's Day. Like, it's enough people working. We not like dying. Like, we get an hour lunch break again. Like, I'm coming home at 5 o'clock like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not used to only working 8 hours a day. Like, I'm working 8 hours a day. Y'all, in California, can walk to work, doing outpatients, not in no hospital right now. I don't got to push no stretcher. I don't got to be exposed to COVID every day. Like, then I got the weekends off. I got the evenings off. I got these holidays off that I don't even know what to do with. And I'm making more money than I made with 3 jobs. So this is where I am right now. I'm sitting in the middle of the promise of the Lord. I know He told me to come here. And actually, in November, I'm going to go and tell y'all this, because this is how I knew that the Lord, that it was okay for me to come to California right now. So in November, I got 2 Robo Calls, 2 of them. And because God speaks in any way, and I don't care what you say, He can speak in any way that He know you're going to be looking for it. So I got 2 Robo Calls. One was from, the first Robo Call was from California, and then it was like a couple North Carolina Robo Calls, and then another one was from this other place, this other state that I thought He was speaking to me about. So I was like, Lord, what you telling me you want me to go to California first? But this is before there was any job in California. This is when I had, went ahead and applied, for the license or whatever, because now I didn't have to take the test. But I was just like, okay, so I ignored it or whatever. But that's how I knew that it was okay and that God was telling me to come to California first. Because the first robocall was from California and the other robocall was from this other state that I believe that the Lord is sending me also. But we will see if that actually comes to pass. So then so that was my one sign. But mind you, the Lord has been speaking to me throughout this whole healing process that I had, months and months and months. Like, me and my relationship with the Lord has been, growing increasingly, so I can hear from Him in certain ways, and He knows how I hear from Him, and He knows how to speak to me. So I didn't need Him to do multiple confirmations. I was just like, okay, well, I guess if I get offered a job in California, then I'll take it. So then I feel like the night that I went to work this night before I had the interview, like the night before I had the interview, I went to work and I did a patient, and the patient had 2 children, and one of the little girls had on a sweatshirt that said California. One little girl's had on a sweatshirt that said California. And I'm like, okay. And I know, because I don't notice everything, but the Lord will have you notice what he's trying to speak to you. So I put that in my little journal thing, actually I put it in my phone because I didn't have my journal with me at work at the time. And that was another confirmation. So I remember that California Robo Call, which was weeks and weeks before, like in November, and this was December, that I got that call for. So I'm like, okay, then, well, I must be okay if I make this decision. And then that second bit of confirmation, the night before, the lady, I had an interview. I had this patient and one of her daughters had on a shirt that said California. And I said, okay, if they offer me this job, then I'm taking this job because this is where the Lord is sending me. So that's basically how I knew to come here. And then after I accepted the job, everything went smoothly. Oh, my flight was like half the price. Everything was smooth, like smooth sailing. Like when I came to like my place or whatever, I mean, they gave me the keys, like nothing was wrong, like nothing was broke, like nothing. That's why I'm like, oh my gosh, is this reality? Like, is this reality? Because the Lord leads with peace. With peace. I didn't have to fight my flights. I didn't have nobody sitting beside me my whole flights. Of course, because of COVID. But the Lord will work in whatever situation you allow him to work in. COVID, year 2020 was the best year of my life. And unfortunately, fortunately for me, like I cannot relate to what everyone else has experienced. I feel like I've been living in a whole nother universe or something, a whole nother world because of God, because of the relationship that I've been able to build with him, because of how he's shown himself in my life in 2020. Like, I thank God because he works all things together for the good. He can even use something like COVID to get you where he needs you to be for the price that he wants you to pay. He used it all. And he's going to keep using it all. This is just the part that I'm telling y'all about now because I want you guys to know that I am only here in San Francisco, California in January 2021 because the Lord led me here. He made a way out of no way. I am living the most peaceful, joyful life that I have ever experienced, and I could not have even dreamed this for myself. All because I said yes. I submitted my life to him. And I am excited about this journey of faith. I am excited. He's showing up every day. I look for him every day. And he's making a way every day. So I encourage you, after listening to this part of my faith journey, my life, like, submit your life to the Lord. Like, start with reading your word. I'll do a video on how to submit your life to the Lord, but ask him what he wants for your life. Listen, seek, and look for him, and he will show up. So thank you guys for watching and coming. If I have missed something in these videos, I'm going to be doing this YouTube thing for a long time. Also, the Lord called me to YouTube too. And that was something that I did in November that I felt like he was telling me to do. As soon as I did what he told me to do, everything started to move. He was waiting on me and I'm waiting on him like, Lord. And he waiting on me to do what the last thing that he told me to do. So we'll talk about that if he leads me to talk about that. But I love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. And I hope that you are encouraged and inspired to step out and jump on faith, because the Lord will not lead you wrong. I love you guys. Have a good one. See you in the next video. Bye.